Welcome to Drinks on the House. My name is Zach Kowalski. Joining me as always, my co-host, the Pride of Pinckney, Kevin Alice.
I'm here and I have so much to talk about, and I don't have a stomach flu this week.
Yay. Alright, we'll rush through the intro then. Joining us also, he's the glue that holds this whole thing together, Andrew Hamill.
Hi, guys.
Howdy.
Hey.
I'm continuing not having the stomach flu as well, so.
It's good. It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good update.
Thanks, guys. Normal poops for Andy.
And finally, he's the producer slash seducer. He's super producer Josh.
Load that bowl, homie.
Yeah.
we made out that whole joke within the first 30 seconds. What an
New Drinks on the House record.
Mm-hmm.
What an episode.
Yeah.
Sooner
It's
going to be us yelling, load that ball.
Firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Pun
Yep.
intended.
Yes.
Alright, Kevin, since you have so much to talk about, you want to introduce us to our first segment?
Yeah, our first segment as always is our weekend nerd, or my weekend nerd. And we actually already kind of started talking about this, so I'm just going to rush right the fuck back into it. It's off camera. I already got talking about it. It's the new Power Rangers movie. I saw it today, and it's fucking awesome. Like, it's not going to be critically well received, but it's a really good, like, corny, like, just ridiculous fun action movie. Let's describe it.
It was Power Rangers.
It was Power Rangers, yeah. They put it. Well, the big thing that I was really curious about, because it's rated PG-13, so, and I know their box office isn't doing well this opening weekend. Like, you know, on a $100 million budget, I think they've brought in about 65 opening weekend. Last numbers I checked.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, but it's not as good as they thought it would be. And
No.
like, when you're barely making your money back, that's not quite the investment. Because a lot of movies will kick it out of the park in the first week.
True, but they still have international.
Right, but you still have international, and this one's going to play huge international, I think.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Just like Transformers does. That's why they keep making those goddamn awful movies. Yeah, that's why Michael Bay still has a job. But I was curious, like, going in knowing that it was PG-13, because I knew it would be an edgier take, and I think they did that really well. But I'm curious to hear, like, if that may have actually affected how much money they could bring in by taking the edgier take. Just because, like, you'd think the market would be younger kids, not teenagers.
Well, you think they're banking on the nostalgia?
Yeah, well, I understand that they're trying to capitalize on the nostalgia, but you would also want to bring in new people.
Sure, but our generation who grew up with it, you know, the 20 and 30-somethings now, they're the people that have money. So I think that's who they're targeting.
It's clear that they want to do that as well. And especially since it's not like a soft reboot where they do, like, everything. They changed a lot of stuff to it. But it all worked. It's unlike the Ninja Turtles changes that didn't really work.
Yeah.
where they retconned the Turtles being aliens, and it's like, well...
Did they really do that?
No more Secret of the Ooze.
Wait,
More
they're
secret.
aliens now?
Basically, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say in the movies they said it was the ooze though.
No.
It's still
I didn't see him, so I don't know.
No, it's a TV series that they did.
Oh, I see.
That was a TV series. The movie still didn't do well anyway.
It was terrible. It made me weep.
Yeah.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, that was the worst date ever.
Well, the big problem with the movie one is that they retconned that April O'Neil's father was the one that did it.
Yeah.
What?
It was dumb.
The whole story was really bizarre.
That was a convoluted mess.
That's
Awful. They did not do that with the Power Rangers. It was the same basic take on it, but it was in a much different way. Where in the first Power Rangers, a lot of the characters were very much like goody two shoe, lovable goofs, except for like Jason, who was a badass karate master, and somehow, by osmosis, gave his karate powers to everyone else.
Was he the guy that murdered the person in real life with a sword?
No.
Yeah. He was not a badass. He was a monster.
No.
Well, yeah, he's a monster in real life. I'm talking about the TV show. But in this one, they're all like, they all meet, or not all of them. 3 of them meet in detention. So like they're the outcasts in this, as opposed to being like the in people.
They're the bad boys.
Apparently,
Yeah, they're the bad.
I'm looking on IMDb right now, and apparently Bill Hader was the voice of Alpha 5.
There is. He actually kills it.
Because Alpha 5 was so
I could see
fucking
that.
annoying back in the day. Ay, 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 ay.
It's just like you had to make it a running joke just to get past it. That's how bad it was. But in the
I feel
movie,
like that's
it works.
a lot of Power Rangers.
It works pretty well in the movie.
I'm also seeing here that Bryan Cranston was Zordon, who
He
was
is
like the
Zordon,
leader
and-
of the Rangers.
And as we talked about 2 weeks ago, Elizabeth Banks is Rita.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. My friend that told me, because she just saw the movie, she said that Rita Repulsa is this like alien, and before she gets her power, she like is this like crust kid that's an alien and steals gold to like harness power to become.
Yeah. She's
So
like
she's
a
an
hobo.
alien crust
She's
punk?
a hobo that takes. Well, she's taking all the gold in the area so that she can make Goldar.
I also have to ask, what the fuck is Goldar?
Goldar is made of gold.
Well, obviously, but that doesn't.
Yeah, he is Rita Repulsa's goon in the original series, but in this, it's more of one of her monsters.
Yeah,
I
I
think
heard that
so.
he actually doesn't have a voice in this one,
He does not.
which is
I
kind of
think,
disappointing because he's just.
honestly, I think it was for the best. If you really look back on Goldar,
Yeah.
you a sniveling idiot just following Rita in a movie, trying to be a bit more gritty.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
I do remember
Bebop
that, I
and
know.
Rocksteady in like space
He was
armor.
Bebop and Rocksteady put together, but he can do a bit more than them.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't just wandering around saying "mama" like a.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
man.
all the complaints about this Goldar casting, I think, are silly.
Do they all look at the screen and like shout their like Zord names before they transform?
No. I wish
Oh.
they did. He
Yeah.
did have a couple shout out. Like Bill Hader said "I" like 3 times during the movie.
I also heard Amy Jo Johnson or whatever her name is shows up as well. She's the Pink Ranger.
The Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Huh.
it's there.
And I
is
heard
she?
that the White Ranger also makes an appearance, which kind of makes them the only original like American cast to make it in every single movie.
Yeah, Tommy makes an appearance somehow.
Was Tommy wearing any of his MMA gear? Was it tap or Jesus doesn't tap? Yeah, that's his motto.
Wow.
Jesus does that. That's a stellar motto. Oh, but yeah, I can't recommend seeing it enough. I'm already hyped for another one, possibly.
Well, you were saying before we started recording, they're planning to make 6 movies, right?
Right? Yeah, they have it slated that they're gonna make 6 movies. I assume that all hinges on. So they already have a story arc written for 6 movies, is what it was. So I don't know if they were actually planning the production of it or if they had a timeline like how the Marvel Universe does.
Do you see it going more of a DC route or a Marvel route?
What do you mean?
Is it
Like-
going to tank horribly, like DC movies, or is it going to rise,
Okay.
like
Okay.
Marvel movies, or go somewhere in the middle?
A little bit of both, I think they will. I think it's better to compare it to the Transformer movies, honestly. I think they're going to get shit reviews. I don't think reviewers or critics are ever going to like them, but I think popularly they will do well, and internationally they will do very well. I think that's how it's going to work. And a lot like another one to compare it to would be Resident Evil. Resident Evil has always done well. It does very well internationally.
Oh,
They made
internationally,
like
okay.
3
yeah.
or 4 of them, I think.
Never does well domestically. Hell no.
Oh, dude, there were like 6, man.
There's
There's 6 of them? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is there 6 of them?
one.
4
just-
seemed insane to me.
Yeah, they kept pumping them out.
Yeah.
The 6th
Good
one is
God.
the finale.
Yeah.
There is not another one planned. It was a very mediocre movie at best. It was a $40 million budget, and it made $307 million.
God damn.
Wow.
Again, internationally, it makes a ton of money.
China, what the fuck?
That's basically been my week.
That was a hell of a week.
So in the last couple weeks, I've blown all of my money, and I went ahead and bought a Switch and Breath of the Wild,
Good man.
and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I was just telling Zach the other day, I was like, yeah, I've been playing it a lot. I think I've logged in about 15, 20 hours. And then I actually look at my game file. It's more like 55. So it has sucked away from my life. I don't think I've ever played like an open world game like as immersive as that. I mean, I barely touched on Skyrim. I haven't played Fallout. That's kind of the gist I get from those games. It's like this is what you're doing now. This is your life. And that's kind of like my last, week and a half has just been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I've wanted to get that game. I only have a Wii U. I don't have a Switch. I'll probably end up getting a Switch. Let's say around the time that the new Smash Bros comes out.
It's gonna be like next year.
That's
man.
when I always. Yeah, that's when I always buy my Nintendo systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's probably the smart thing because I bought mine off of eBay, and of course, they jack up all the prices, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, 'cause it's been sold out for a while. My buddy's been trying to buy one.
Oh yeah, a lot of the people that pre-ordered it didn't even get it when it was promised, and it got like lost in the mail, and they had to like reorder it, and it's just insane.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype. I feel like Nintendo has just been purposely only stocking so many, and then be like, you can't have one. I bet you want
That's
one now
what
though. Okay, we're gonna get like 1 million more, and
Yeah,
it's
that
immediately
false
sold
scarcity.
out. And yeah, and like all the people on eBay buy it and resell it, and that's how they make their money. And Nintendo's like, yeah, we're gonna like wait till like I don't know closer to the holiday to like start releasing more. And they're like, dude, like come on, like the biggest game came out on it right now, like, and they're like, no, you can't have it. So I
It's
just
the
said,
same
fuck
thing.
you, I bought it off eBay. So
That's the same thing they did with the Wii.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
that
They did that.
Well, it
false
was
scarcity.
huge. I mean, they made so much money out of that anticipation. It was really kind of unfair and weird. And
Yeah. Well, and when it came out, you couldn't find anywhere.
Yeah, I think there's a general business strategy of if we keep it scarce enough, then the hype will stay,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
you'll keep that excitement through like new game releases and shit like that. But there's another theory of let's just pump as much as we can out there, and then make all that money now.
The PlayStation,
Right, that's the
option.
PlayStation strategy. Yeah, that's the PlayStation strategy.
Here you go, fuckers. Go buy. Jumping into my weekend nerd. I'm also swimming in open world RPGs. Still playing Horizon. It's a fun game. It's pretty. It's the prettiest game I've ever played. It might rival Uncharted, just in terms of the world just looks really nice.
Dude, they got the hair mechanics down in a game. I was
Yes, they
amazed.
No more clipping.
No more clipping.
So I've been enjoying that. But sadly, the dark grips of Skyrim just grabbed me and pulled me right back into its depths.
You can't give up Skyrim. Are they remaking it?
They did for the PS4. That's
Oh,
the
they
version
already
I'm
did.
playing.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Comes with all the DLC. It looks the exact
Yeah.
fucking same
Right, yeah.
from the PS3
Of course.
version.
Right.
So I clearly paid $60 more for it
Uh-huh.
because I'm an idiot. So yeah, just been slogging through those. That's been taking up all my time.
My weekend nerd has been thematically much different than the three viewers. I actually.
Oh my god, this is my surprise face.
Yeah. What a surprise! I knew nothing about anything you guys just said about video games. No, mine is actually like a lot less interesting of a pick than your guys. Kind of. I was at a bar on Friday, and probably for the first time in several years, I heard the album Abbey Road front to back, and just forgot how fucking incredible that album is. Specifically, like the B side of it, where it has like kind of like the two medleys of songs that go back to back with kind of like Sun King, Mean Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, and then Came Through the Bathroom Window, and then kind of the Golden Slumber stuff after that, and was just like really enthralled by it, even though it was like, it seemed like it like I was at a bar where it's like people bring in their own vinyl and play, and it seemed like someone brought like their dad's old copy of Abbey Road because it was like skipping all over the place. But I was still super engaged in it and just had like a childlike level of excitement listening to it. So yeah, that was my.
You're always
big deal
super
for
into the Beatles.
Yeah, and like I had like a little bit of like a thing more recently where I was listening to like kind of like older Beatles albums, and like I was somewhat obsessed with like Beatles for Sale for a little bit, and like listened to that album nonstop for like a couple weeks straight. But now now I feel like I'm gonna be going through that phase with Abbey Road coming up, so
Nice.
that'll be great. Yeah, staring into the future.
Dude, first of all, that bar sounds really fun, and it sounds like a really good time. I'm so like tickled because you're like, I have done nothing nearly as cool as you guys, and we're just talking about these like got these new consoles and new games, and you're like, I listened to the Beatles.
Had an amazing time.
But I feel like I think that's what the rest of us kind of need to do, is just to put that shit down and just go out and just do something really simple and peaceful, you know? And that sounds really cool. Did you bring any vinyl to that bar, or did you just stop in?
No, it was like it's usually like the staff will like is able to bring their own stuff, and then I think they do like stuff every once in a while where it's like people can bring records in. It's just I always like listening to albums front to back too. So I always like that when like it's at like a place where you put on a record and it's not just like kind of like a fucking jukebox where people can just like pick random songs and stuff. I like when there's just like I guess I'm like a completist in that way where like I want to hear every song in kind of like the order that I remember it. So an OCD thing, I guess. But
I definitely appreciate that sort of consistency. I used to listen to albums all the way through now, and then I sort of got into DJing for a while, and so I kind of like making mixes a lot more now, and I feel like they can kind of flow in their own way. But I definitely like just the intentional order of the tracks and the album as a whole. Like I feel like there's something really kind of nice about that.
Yeah, definitely with an album like that where it's like there's like 6 songs in a row that are meant to be like kind of connected by one thread. So it's kind of nice to hear them in one instead of just like hearing like one part of it and then it's about to kick into another song and then like just like some random like Rolling Stone song comes on or something. Just like, fuck me. Like, that's not what I wanted.
Damn you, Jagger.
Fuck you, Jagger.
All right, moving on to our main topic. So if you guys remember our last episode, we were doing... Fuck, what were we doing?
We were talking about art and the difference between like their personal lives and kind of their artistic intentions.
Right.
And where do you draw the line between someone who, like, say, G.G. Allen, who threatens to give people diseases and shit on them on stage, versus like, I like listening to this in my room by myself. And how do you feel about yourself as a person afterward?
No.
Right. Because you guys kind of came up with the same topic, and we decided to spin it off in full episode.
Yeah. And that was, at least for me, like, this topic kind of came up more recently. Like, there was a lot of stuff that sort of popped up around the time that the Oscars were going on, and a little bit beforehand where it was... So early on in the year, one of the major favorites in the Oscars was this movie called Birth of a Nation, written by this guy named written, directed, and starring this guy named Nate Parker. And it was like... coming out of it was Cannes or Sundance. It was like the most money anyone had ever paid to purchase a film coming out of one of those festivals. And it was just kind of like this, everyone was going to see it. It was going to be amazing. It was going to be this huge event in film. And then all of a sudden, kind of these allegations resurfaced from when he was in college in 1999 at Penn State that he had been accused, and he ended up being acquitted, but he was accused of raping a girl. And it dug up this whole past, and one of the guys that actually was either a producer on the film or had like a co-writing credit was actually his friend, who was also involved in the same allegations and actually ended up going to prison for like 6 months because of it. He was actually convicted. And then at the same time you had that, then you had all the shit pop up about Casey Affleck, who it was all these like it was a couple sexual harassment claims that had come up during the filming of that I'm Not There movie he directed with. It was like the fake documentary for Joaquin Phoenix when he supposedly had gone crazy and became a rapper, and he had kind of ended up settling all of these and kind of buried them, and they didn't resurface until this point. And then we had good old world's most famous anti-Semite, or most current, most well-known anti-Semite, Mel Gibson.
Good save.
Yeah, sorry. Don't want to give him too much credit. There you go. Coming back into kind of warm place in Hollywood, and his film being nominated for an Oscar, as well as kind of the actors in the film. So it kind of got me thinking, and sort of what will make people not want to consume someone's art, or where is the point that you sort of draw in your own mind, like, this isn't acceptable, I don't want to see this, or I can't really justify spending money to support this person for what they've done in the past or what they choose to do currently.
Does a performer's personal life affect your ability to enjoy their art?
Yes.
Right. My answer is a yes.
Yeah.
Flat on the table.
Yes. I wholeheartedly agree.
My answer is yes with a but. I believe everyone's entitled to make one mistake, but if you're talking about like a Mel Gibson type who has
Like a
proven
constant
himself to be an
stream.
asshole in multiple occasions, yeah, constantly. Yeah, I can't enjoy a Mel Gibson film anymore. But you have somebody who fucks up, says a slur one time. Okay, I'll give you a pass. Everybody fucks up. You shouldn't have your career ruined for one gaffe.
Well, you're like in front of the camera like 24/7 when you're famous. There's no break to be yourself, and you have to make sure you act a certain way and you say certain things. Just, like,
Sure, if there's a recording device or a camera in our houses, which there are, but we're not famous because of it. I'm sure some shit would come out about all of us.
Yeah. Even if it weren't like terrible, it's just like people would find some reason to not like you from one reason or other. They're just like, oh wow, he's a piece of shit, or I don't agree with what he said, or something. Yeah. I'm really bummed to hear about Casey Affleck, by the way. I've always really liked Casey Affleck. And
Same with me. Yeah.
I didn't actually know he directed I'm Not There. I never got to see it. I've seen parts of it. Obviously his face was everywhere when he was promoting that movie. He would stay in character.
He also gave that very unhinged interview on David Letterman around that time, where it was no one knew that the film was coming out at that point, and he was just sort of everyone thought he was just sort of spiraling like at that point in time. Yeah. But I had also, like, the film thing seemed to kind of bring it into like a lot more of like a mainstream conversation. But I know something, and we kind of touched on this a little bit last week too, where it was just kind of being a fan of heavier music for a long time and getting into more and more kind of underground or less mainstream forms of it. There's always been sort of these undercurrents or whispers of certain people kind of believing in certain ideologies or being associated with certain kind of less than stellar political thoughts. And then even some people that were flat out just open racist and shit like that. A big one kind of came towards the end of last year, and one of like a more kind of one of the biggest metal bands of maybe like the last 20 years, and Pantera's former lead singer Phil Anselmo getting drunk at a kind of a celebrity concert that they did in honor of one, I guess, like maybe the birthday or the anniversary of the passing of Dimebag Darrell, and he got super hammered, and at the end of the conversation, after what was said to have been a nice night for everyone, he started doing the Nazi salute and screaming white power at the audience. And that kind of led into a real big downward spiral for him, where he sort of disappeared out of the limelight fairly recently, has kind of come back to apologize for things. But it also brought up where people had sort of swept under the rug the fact that he had been, for almost as long as Pantera had been a very successful band, had kind of like these accusations of racism, where whether it was like wearing a t-shirt that had somewhat of a nationalistic or white power associated like symbol on it. There was something where it was like him wearing like iconography of like some like South African separatist movement. And then there was shit where he would talk on stage about how it's okay to have pride in being a white man, and having white pride is a good thing. And these were kind of things that everyone kind of let, oh, old Phil's being a little weird again. And then
Old
this time,
kooky Uncle Phil.
yeah, old kooky Uncle Phil. And, he was kind of, and he always had been like celebrated as like this, like really out there spokesperson for like the metal community, and like bringing to the forefront these bands that were underappreciated and stuff. And I was always a big Pantera fan, and I was a huge fan of his band Down, and that really kind of fucked with my head, because some of those albums were really important for me and really got me into metal and kind of pointed me in the direction of different bands that I probably would have never heard of. But now I haven't really spun a Pantera record since then, or picked up a Down record or anything like that. So it's kind of weird it's like seeing kind of one of your heroes turn to shit right in front of your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that always sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys had any sort of experience like that yourselves, or anything where it was like something like happened right then, you were just like, fuck, I'm done with this person?
Oh, it happened. I can point exactly to a moment.
Yeah.
That happened with an artist with me, and it was Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
I don't usually like care about celebrity gossip, anything like that, or like what celebrities do, so I tend to fall out of the radar when things happen to them. But this one happened to me while I was at a concert of his and Rob Zombie's.
Ooh, I remember this.
Yes. Manson apparently infuriated with Rob Zombie because Manson either A, couldn't go on last, or B, had his time cut shorter than he wanted it to be cut short, and blamed Rob Zombie for it publicly on stage in front of the audience. Yelled something along the lines of, "This will be my last song because Rob Zombie needs his precious time," or some shit like that. And I'm like, all right, dude, don't be a fucking asshole on this. Like, you can be mad at him off of it, but right in front of someone, that's unprofessional. That's terrible.
You don't make that shit public, especially in front of a huge
Rob's
concert like that.
Right. Rob Zombie then fired back during that concert. To be fair, he was provoked.
Sure.
I think I held it more over Manson than I did on Zombie, though Zombie didn't exactly act professionally either, because during his cover of School's Out, he yelled, "Fuck Manson."
Subtle.
Yeah, subtle. Yeah, Rob Zombie. Picture of subtlety. Just see all of his movies. I haven't watched his new one yet. I should do that tonight. Anyway. Yeah, like that moment exactly happened to me. It wasn't like an interview. It wasn't something that he even believed in. It was just him being a fucking asshole. And I've seen Sully do that too from Godsmack, and that's the reason I don't listen to Godsmack on top of growing out of their music. But yeah, I can't stand listening to Godsmack either for that same reason. Just usually live concert experiences is what make me hate a band. It happened to me with Between the Buried and Me as well.
What did they do?
They spurred on a pit that got someone injured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people were falling and they just kept spurring it on. They were being fucking assholes about it.
It's more or less right now, the line that I absolutely draw is if an artist says or does something that marginalizes or hurts somebody, bringing people down, or sexual assault, stuff like that, any of that shit, I'm just 100% done with it. Like at the same time, I think I have like an answer like Zach, where it's like a but at the end, where I'm like, I'll still listen to Michael Jackson. I'll still watch Woody Allen films.
I'll still listen to The Who.
Yeah, I don't know what the Who do.
So Pete Townsend was arrested for possession of child pornography in the early 2000s. His claim was that he was writing his own autobiography, and he claimed that as a child he was abused. So his excuse was that he went on the internet to look for child pornography for research.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if he later was able to like plead down to like a nothing charge.
Basically, yeah.
But
he served no time.
or if he was just, Yeah, or even he may. I can't even remember if he was like fully acquitted or something like that, but that was kind of the story back then. And that one is something that almost as quickly as it came up, it just completely went away. It felt like that is no one really brings that up, and the Who continue to tour pretty regularly.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And then they headlined the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not too long after, actually.
Yeah.
Like 5 years after.
Well, I don't know. It kind of makes it wonder
Yeah.
because wasn't there like a documentary about people who are addicted to child pornography that just came out? And, like, how the fuck did they research that without looking like
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
insane?
that's
Yeah.
a tough one.
You know, I'm not
Yeah.
saying Pete Townsend should get any sort of pass. That's awful. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
Well, when I was in college, I did, for one of my criminal justice classes, I had to research a little bit about child pornography and just like child predators and things like that. But I was using a university's library research system. I wasn't at my own home computer Googling child pornography.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
You weren't taking the old Pete Townsend route there.
So I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
so one of my favorite movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yes.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Yeah, manslaughter.
Yeah, manslaughter. He ran somebody over. And probably the worst, Jeffrey Jones, the principal,
Yeah.
was also kind of in Pete Townsend's seat. And it's fucked up, but like I really enjoy both of them in that movie quite. I mean, the whole dynamic between them is wonderful. It's a great movie, but it's just like
Yeah.
I don't think I've been able to really enjoy it so much after hearing about the whole child pornography thing. It's like that. I don't know.
Sours it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I still own the movie. It's
No.
just I don't know. I feel weird about it now.
But that's what these things do.
Yeah,
It makes you feel weird for being a fan.
yeah.
Or like, it's like, oh, suitably supporting thing.
Well, I'm not openly like trying to look and like watch all like Jeffrey Jones movies and
Sure, you're not a huge Jeffrey Jones
yeah,
fan.
like I just
Yeah.
enjoy.
I
this.
don't think anyone was ever a Jeffrey Jones.
No.
Okay.
Not even
I
Jeffrey
don't
Jones.
think anyone.
But I feel like this kind of raises an important like sort of statement about art is that it's contextual. There's a time and a place where it happened. Like that hour and a half of that movie is their art. It has nothing to do with their personal lives. It's what they all commonly decided to do together artistically.
Well, that's a lot of stand-up comedians' argument. Is like, this is my job, this is my art. It's just a fucking joke. That's the main, thing you'll hear. I know Joe Rogan's a big proponent of that. Like, I can say whatever the fuck I want. That type of thing. In that context of art.
Well, yeah, but that has a context as well.
That's true.
Because it's not like we're judging people for being dickheads. Like, it's not like we're saying Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained ruins me on Leonardo DiCaprio because he played a racist slave owner.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's in the context of the art. So I'm a big fan of Jim Jeffries. Says very offensive things on stage. Actually, a very nice man.
From what I've heard, yes.
But he's not doing it like privately or like publicly in an interview. He's doing it for his own art.
He's not like
And-
Gilbert Gottfried, who says this shit in
Right.
real life.
Right.
That's another thing that got ruined. I went to see Gilbert Gottfried when he came to Seattle. And I met him after the show. I brought my Critic DVD. I wanted him to sign it. But he was just a huge dickhead.
Wow,
Yeah.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah. It kind of ruined his comedy for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't updated his that since 1988. But, I always enjoyed it.
No.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, unless they are like hurting somebody or like marginalizing a like
Right.
race of people, like then I can probably look past it if the art is good enough, because their history is riddled with fucked up, perverted, insane artists and authors. Like I couldn't believe that my ex was so into. She would rave about Ulysses, but wouldn't watch a Woody Allen film. I was like, that bugs me on so many levels. That is a disgusting man and a really disgusting book. But I'm like, you won't watch Woody Allen. It's even though it's like there's no hints of, like predatory sexualness.
Right. Not in any
you
of
know.
his movies.
Not in, well,
Yeah,
some
okay,
of them. Yeah, he gets kind of weird. Yeah.
He is always like an older man chasing a younger woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And the age gap gets bigger as the years go on.
I was going to say Mighty Aphrodite is a really good example of like how that old man chasing a younger woman stops being disarming and just legit becomes creepy. So,
Okay, finally crosses the line.
yeah.
I've never seen that movie.
It's another good movie I like. It's really funny, but it's also, you kind of have to take yourself out of that. I mean, this came out way before any of that, happened, and I just thought it was a weird, campy movie, so.
Well, I want to get your guys' thought on something, too. Of just kind of the society we're in today, where it seems like everyone's offended about everything. Because this just happened recently. One of the guys I really like, Colin Moriarty from Kinda Funny. I've quoted him here before. He used to work for IGN. Now he does YouTube videos and other commentary and things like that. So as a joke on International Women's Day, he tweeted out, finally, a day without women. A day of silence. Which is not a good joke.
Huh.
It's not funny. It's offensive.
Very Tim Allen kind of joke.
Exactly. That's what he said. It was a dad joke. But he ended up having to resign to the company he co-founded. Kind of Funny Games. And yeah, there was a huge controversy about it. And he basically just said, yeah, I just made a bad joke.
Yeah.
And he's never done anything like that. So it's just kind of, I don't know, that's the most recent example. And, it took me a couple days to kind of process it and see, am I really okay with it? Because I remember scrolling through my my Twitter.
Titter.
It's in between Twitter and Tinder. The titter.
I got something there.
Yeah.
Well, 140 characters are left. Sell me on this person before I swipe right.
I was
It's
gonna
not a
say
bad idea.
the Tim Allen dating app, Hitter and the Titter.
Titter and the titter.
That's when you get a new message.
Isn't that somebody's like cell phone tone, like our ringtone or whatever? Like I thought it was yours for a minute.
It probably was.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know.
It was my text tone.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
anyways.
That was funny for like a week before it got horrifying.
It's okay. Mine is smoke weed every day. Never gets old.
Just funny because you don't even smoke
My
weed.
text message tone for the longest time was, I threw it on the ground.
I'm an adult.
Lonely Island.
Or it just yells, I'm about that life. So, those are the two popular ones for me.
Nice. But anyway, I was scrolling through Twitter. I saw the joke, like in real time. It's like, that's a shitty joke, bad taste, and I just kept scrolling. I think that's what most people do. But
Yeah.
then there's just like some hardcore people who just have a louder voice and just can kind of make a storm about something.
Well, it's easy to get offended by internet trolls, like random people that you don't know who just say something really dumb, because we all have a filter. We all have social media where it's just like you see something stupid, you move on. It's like seeing it like a dumb meme. It's like whatever, or a dumb picture of somebody's fucking baby. It's like, okay, I don't want to see this right now, unless you want to see babies. I don't know, but it's like when you idolize somebody or you listen to them like every week and you really appreciate what they do, and all of a sudden they're being like, why would you say that? It's like it's having like a really good friend kind of like say something really gross. It's kind of like my old roommate where he would be okay, be a good guy, be like, yeah, babe, couple beers, you can crash over here, and he's just like, anyways, this dude's like a N-word and shit, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you say that though? I don't care about anybody else or their beliefs, but like, why would you?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we were saying before. And that just like make you feel bad by association.
Yeah.
It's like, I associate with this person, and you're suitably endorsing what they're saying. And yeah, this Colin was a hero to me. He inspired me to do podcasting or writing, or got me back into video games by recommending Spec Ops The Line. Great game, haunting, on the PS3.
Oh, yeah, I have that game. I got it for $1.
It's fucking terrifying. That was the only game that I played, put the controller down, and walked away.
That good, huh?
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it took me a couple days of wrestling with it. And it's just like ultimately decided, and that's where I kind of came down. It's like, all right, you get one. You never have seemed like a big dickhead before. Okay, we'll see where you go from here. Mm-hmm. I'll support your projects.
Yeah.
He's got a new one, Colin's Last Stand. It's already on Patreon, I think at almost $40,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. So he got an outpouring of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dad joke.
Yeah.
There's been much worse said.
Oh yeah,
But
the world is
I
a
mean-
sad, twisted place. If somebody
Yeah.
makes a dad joke, it's like, eh.
Oh, I just walk past
Yeah.
the dad joke.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
I make it
there's
myself.
worse jokes on the
Either way.
honeymooners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there are.
Oh yeah.
He threatened to beat his wife to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah, but
his,
it
that
was-
was his tagline. That wasn't just like a joke. It was literally the tagline.
It was in every episode.
But it,
It was in
But-
every episode. He's threatened to beat his wife every episode.
but to play devil's advocate, that was also like 1940.
Yeah.
So it
There's
was
no
like
devil's
in the
advocate
context,
about it. No,
No,
the
but, like,
context
no,
is absolutely different.
No, yeah, I'm not like it's we definitely live in a different society today, and I get making a dad joke. I don't necessarily like. I think that there's like a huge difference. Like if between the four of us, I said something stupid, and all three of you knew like that, like, oh, Andy's not a misogynist, so that's cool. But now we live in a society where whenever anyone gets like a dumb fucking thought in their head, they put it on Twitter for the rest of the world to see. And then it's like the accountability factor is much higher at that point because
That's
you're-
true.
That's very true.
there's like no control over what you're saying. It's many other people saying it. And also, if I also posted something that was like kind of misogynistic on Twitter or on Facebook, and someone from my work found out, I could possibly be fired too. So it's not. It's
Actually,
those are
no, the
kind
work
of
thing
like
actually makes
real-
perfect sense to me that he
Yeah.
was out of the company because, and it sucks for him, it does, but it was his
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
Because from a business sense, you do not want that haunting your company because it will kill your company.
And that's exactly
Yeah.
why he left. Because I
Yeah.
read an interview. He did Joe Rogan's podcast a few days ago.
that
And
makes
that's kind
sense.
of what he talked about. Just like, I didn't want to affect my company and my friends. Like, this is my
Yeah.
problem. I'll go deal with it.
Well, at least he was responsible
Yep.
about it, which I feel like almost absolves him of.
And that's
that
why I
whole
feel better
mistake,
about supporting him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
Right, and there's also a difference. Here's another big thing too: is there's a difference in really caring about like owning up to the mistake, and
Mhm.
or just keep doing it. Like,
Yeah.
and it comes back to your once around kind of policy. I don't necessarily have the once around depending on how bad the first thing was.
True.
But
Yeah.
it's important to be able to own up to it as well. Just because like owning up to things is a much bigger deal than doing them, because if you don't own up to them, it's not even a mistake at that point. It's your own fucking fault if you're just gonna like let it keep going.
Yeah,
It
doubling
doesn't
down
make
on
any
that
sense.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't double down on it. You made a mistake, just say you made a mistake, say you're sorry, make your amends, and
Yeah.
go from there.
But going from blasting your opinion on the internet to having a much more personal life, like, is it any better for them to say these things like in private and kind of be those sort of people? Like,
No, not necessarily. Like I don't think that. Probably if someone's saying something shitty on Twitter, they're probably saying something horrible in real life. And like I feel like we're kind of in a different generation where now everyone is kind of looking internally at the people around them when they're like someone makes an off-color joke or says something like weird about another race, and I think we're all kind of like I think it's kind of like a newer generational thing where people are finally going like, well, that's not fucking cool, as opposed to just kind of like awkwardly shaking it off because this person is generally like a good person. Otherwise, like maybe it's something where that person needs to be kind of like,
Well, Dave Chappelle's getting that right now.
oh yeah,
He just released that 2 new specials on Netflix.
yeah.
And he's getting a lot of shit from the trans community.
Yeah, and there was some really funny stuff on it, and then there was some really kind of politically tone deaf sort of stuff that he said.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
A man stuck about 10
get it.
years in the past, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of where we sort of talked about things like being sort of a snapshot in time, pieces of art. And going back and like looking at some of like Dave Chappelle's older stand-up, there was also some really funny parts, and then there's also some kind of questionable parts. And that's I think it's kind of, as people grow, you start to view things with a different lens, and then it's like, is this as funny to me, or like why was this funny to me to begin with? Like you just start to, as you grow as a person, I think your lens on life sort of begins to change. So
Right. And I like what you said too, Andy, about just society. I think especially our generation, the millennials, are, just
yeah,
we're kind of changing just the language of society and just saying, like you said, all right, we're kind of sick of hearing this shit.
yeah,
And now there's an easier way to do it now with the internet too.
That's true.
It's easy to get everyone's opinion is out there for everyone to see, as we said earlier.
Yeah.
And that works twofold. One, it shows you it's the bad part where, you say one stupid shit and you're dead. You're dead in the water.
No.
Or there's the other side. There's the flip side of it, which are the people who are actually fighting against those kinds of things. Even though it does happen to good people sometimes, they are calling out people who are fucking dickheads too.
That's true.
And I guess I should say too, like building off my point, I don't think that people should not have the right to say what they think. Like if Dave Chappelle wants to make like a weird joke in his stand-up special, that's his deal. Go ahead. But it's like kind of at the same time, just realize like there's going to be a portion of your audience that isn't going to connect with that anymore, and someone is going to call you out on it. And if you're comfortable with that, then
if you're comfortable being in the eye of controversy, that's you then. That's fine.
And I think oftentimes kind of these like internet battles that are raged against celebrities and stuff are kind of stupid. Like it can be overblown, like just 30 articles about a mean tweet someone sent. But I support people being able to vote with their dollar. If someone says something you don't agree with, don't buy their fucking album. Don't support don't go see a show. Don't go to a stand-up show for them. Like,
don't support
your thing. Yeah.
I think that's kind of the crux of this discussion we've been kind of driving towards, I guess.
Sums it really well.
Yeah. Well done, Andy. Glue the whole thing together.
Thanks,
guys. I think that's definitely the big thing to do, though, is just vote with your dollar is absolutely what you should do.
Yeah, definitely.
I did want to also bring up in brief, there was something I'd read like a long time ago, and just kind of brainstorming about this discussion, kind of made me remember it, where it was kind of on the topic of like different things that people kind of do in like the way that they're sort of willing to bend themselves to justify like listening to a certain person's art. And so there's a black metal band that's called Burzum. It's a one-man project, and they were a very famous, it was this guy named Varg Vikernes, very famous black metal band, kind of one of the like founding members of like the second wave. And he was and is like a very out and proud Nazi. Went to jail for murdering the founder of another band named Mayhem. And there's a lot of, I mean, you Google search this guy, there's a lot of really crazy shit online about him, and like he attempted to break out of prison at one point in time. Like it's all really weird. Now he is out of prison now legally, but he has like all of these just horrible, vicious things to say. And I was reading an article on Pitchfork where it was a guy from like an indie electro band that's an openly gay male, and he did a covers album of all black metal bands, like done in different stylings of music. And he was talking about how he's still a fan of Burzum, and like he bought a Burzum t-shirt, but it was like, I bought like a Mexican bootleg of the Burzum shirt, and then I have a pink patch that I wear on it that says "fuck Vargas politics." And then it was kind of like why do you want to go through like that whole like mental gymnastics routine to be able to listen to like some shitty lo-fi black metal album? Like why like at that point, like just like,
no, it's a good point.
I don't know. I can't. Yeah, like how much do you have to stretch yourself to feel okay with doing this? Like, does that mean that really you just shouldn't be listening to it at that point, or what's the deal?
When you invest so much of yourself into a thing, where it becomes kind of your identity, of like, I'm a black metal kid, or a nihilist, or you even see this in Scientology to bring it in a weird direction. Because when you get into Scientology, you don't learn about all the weird, fucked up things like Xenu and all that shit until you've already invested so much money and time.
Well, there was also like it's weirder with like the black metal shit because it was like when it came out in the '90s, it was pre-internet era, so it was all of these people were like, if you were like a kid in America, you were getting like an import album by like Mayhem, like with no real information on the band. Like all you knew was just like the song titles, and that was like sort of it. So we're now, as opposed to like all this like weird like backstory about them is like readily available at your finger. I personally have been a fan of black metal. It's one of those things where if I find out someone's like a Nazi, like I'm done. I'm not going to listen to their music. And it is a weird thing where it's the only time that like where a genre of music pops up and it's like, check out this new album, and then my first instinct is to Google search, is this guy a racist? Like, and then like it's so weird. It's so weird. Like it definitely, it's like over time, like I've drifted away from that music a lot because it's like I don't like it. It is like a fucking headache. Like just like to have to, like, you shouldn't be worried like when you're listening to music that the person that's making it you hate like to your core. So it's weird. And there's a lot of people that listen to it though that are able, like even with Burzum, they're like, people will label them like a big thing is like they'll call black metal made by Nazis National Socialist black metal, and people won't categorize him as that even though he's open about his beliefs, because none of his songs are about about any sort of National Socialist topic. And then people are able to say like, well, because of that, I don't really feel bad for supporting him or purchasing this album, so I'm okay with it. And a lot of people can kind of, it's again one, and I guess everyone has their ability to draw like that line in the sand of what offends them or what causes them not to like something. But that always kind of like, you know the guy's a fucking Nazi. Like, why do you want to put a fucking dollar in his pocket? I don't know. And there's actually, I'm kind of interested to see in the next couple months. There's another, I think they're another Norwegian black metal band called Take, or it's like Take with 2 or 3 A's though. It's weird. But they've over the past couple of years had a lot of shit come out about them being racist, and the lead singer of the band, it's essentially like a one-man project with like live touring members, but he responded to one of the criticisms by telling people that they could, quote unquote, go suck a Muslim, which really kind of quelled everyone's feeling he was a racist, so that's good. But they're going to be playing at a venue that's like a couple blocks away from my house, and on their most recent U.S. tour, they like shows got canceled. I think like some dude from like Antifa, which is like the anti-fascist group, threw like a smoke bomb on stage or like tear gassed the audience. So like I'm kind of interested to see like what weird shit goes down because of this guy playing like a couple
I just like to imagine you like
blocks away
peeking out of the curtains.
Yeah. Well, there's like a bar like directly behind this venue, so I'm thinking I might just like hang out there that night and see what shit happens. Like, see what goes down.
See a train wreck.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else to add to our discussion, or any other celebrities, or music or artists or something that you can't listen to or couldn't for a period and decided it was okay?
There's a lot, honestly, but
Yeah.
I could go on.
Yeah, I can't think
I'm sure we
of
could
them,
be here all night.
because I just kind of block them out until it comes up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like Manson, I had to see at a concert again. He was drugged up as shit. Lost so
Really?
much respect for him. It was bad.
Does anyone have a troll toll?
I don't
Oh, I
actually.
had one. Fuck, I had one. I don't remember what it was.
If not, it's just gonna be like the Green Ranger for being so evil.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all.
Green Ranger is always my favorite.
Well, he was really
Fuck
cool.
you.
And badass,
No,
but-
I got one. Fuck you, people who made Power Rangers, for not bringing in Lord Zed as a teaser too. Fuck
Oh,
you.
man.
They got 6 movies, Kevin.
Lord Zed should have been brought in as a teaser, and you guys know it.
It's obviously the same people that were responsible for removing Ivan Ooze from their entire campaign.
Oh, those assholes. No Ivan Ooze either, Josh. No Ivan Ooze either. None. Not even a mention. Not even a tease. Oh. Ooze. Hashtag bring back ooze.
All right, on that note.
The ooze is loose.
God damn it.
You guys play Disc Jam now, right?
Oh, that is right. We did.
Yeah, dude, it was so.
Have you ever gotten juiced in that game where you hit the perfect throw 3 times in a row?
don't
I
think
did the
so.
special move. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
It's just when you perfectly time the X button when you grab it and you throw it. You know how you get the pink trail if you throw it right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
You do it 3 times in a row, you get juiced, and then your next throw, if you perfect time it, just flying at them at like incredible speeds.
Wow.
So every time I throw one of those, I yell the juice is loose.
I'm sure everyone in your house is very happy to hear that.
Absolutely.
Someone get the Bronco. The juice is loose.
Loose.
Go watch Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Speaking of the juice being
Oh,
loose,
boy.
load that bowl.
Load that bowl.
Oh, that bowl.
All right, for all of us that drinks in the house, thanks for listening. Again, my name is Zach Kowalski. You can follow me on Twitter at Zach Kowalski. And you can follow us at Drinks in the Hoose. And don't forget to subscribe, share our videos if you like them. If you have friends you know that would be into the same stuff, it really helps.
And you can also follow me on Twitter at @LastVindicator. I got exciting news because, well, not exciting news. I made the purchase this week and already got it. I bought a camera for the stream now that I host, Drinking Buddies.
Ooh.
So now you can see our smiling faces, and it has a microphone built in that doesn't suck, so we don't have to be mic'd up anymore either, which is fucking amazing.
Nice.
We used it last night playing Resident Evil for the first time. It was the best.
Oh, I was just telling Josh about that.
Did you watch any of it?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah. Nathan sucked last night.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't do well.
Never seen someone panic
But yeah,
so
we have-
quickly.
Oh my god, he panicked so fast. Oh man. Yeah, he would just charge him with a knife. Like there was times he would switch between panicking and like running about.
Yeah, I
And there
appreciate
was
the
other
boldness.
times where he would no fear right through them and fail miserably.
But yeah, everyone
Oh.
should watch Kevin's Twitch channel. They're killing it
Yeah,
over there.
Drinking_buddies.
Yeah.
Drinking_buddies.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, we try.
Drunken shenanigans.
Oh man, yeah, bring a drink. Yeah, we have a camera now, so we can tell you when to cheers instead of just like yelling out cheers.
Interactive drinking with Kevin.
Yeah, interactive drinking.
I don't have any social media presence, but thank you for listening and continue to do that. That'd be
Probably
great.
for the best. You don't want to make a
Yeah,
dad
we-
joke and get us fired.
No.
Have to
already.
resign from the podcast in disgrace.
Have to relinquish all that sweet, sweet non-money that we make from this.
Yeah.
My name is Josh. You can follow me at Cruisin' for the Oozin' on Twitter. Follow our YouTube. Go on our Twitter. We have an Instagram account. Follow all those things. Do as we say. Do the things that Zach and Kevin told you, but then also Andy too. Specifically, all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to your super producer.
Every
Yes.
one of them.
I am not awkward at all. Keep on keeping on.
Keep on trucking. Load that bowl.
Oh, look that bowl.
Oh.
And for all of us that drinks in the house, have a drink on us.
Hashtag bring back ooze.
Cheers.
Hashtag load that bowl.